All right, guys, today we are talking about belt setups. What we're gonna do is we're gonna compare my more competition-oriented belt setup to Brennan's more tactical style belt setup. Some of the differences, some of the similarities, and we'll kind of just go over why we have them set up the way we do. Before we get into that, both of these belts are from Blue Alpha. We're good friends with those guys. They've supported us ever since we started, and they sent out a lot of these belts and attachments to us, and so we want to give them a big shout out for their support. We also have an affiliate link down in the description below. You guys can use it. It helps us out quite a bit. So love those guys. Big shout out to those guys. Now, first thing we're going to get into is my belt setup. The way I have this kind of set up, let me go ahead and take this out so the internet doesn't get mad at me. So the way I have this specific belt setup is oriented more for competition shooting, right? However, it works great if I'm just at the range training, maybe even teaching. So it's very minimalist, and I kind of dig it that way. So this belt is the Blue Alpha Battle Belt Lite. This is one of their newer kind of two-piece belt systems, and I really dig it a lot. It's super lightweight, low profile, has a plastic buckle, which is exactly what I need. I don't need anything more. I don't need a D-ring or anything fancy like that. It has a good load rating, no issues there, but this whole system is just super lightweight, and for competition, that's exactly what I want. This is in Ranger Green, obviously. So moving over right away to the holster. So this is a holster from Hammer Armament. This is the Balder competition holster for my MMP 2.0. This is the 5-inch model. I have it in green topo, which is quite excellent, if I may say so myself. Has a nice race cut, has a quick adjust turboprop knob, which is great for walking stages and then being able to loosen it up, have it nice and loose for my draw. I also have this riding on a Ben Stoeger Pro Shop Boss hanger. As you can see, it has a good bit of offset from my body, still legal within the USPSA rules, and it also allows me to cant the holster at like a negative cant. This is really helpful for the way I draw, kind of a hybrid scoop style draw. Being able to have that negative cant allows for a lot of efficiency and consistency with that, so I dig that a lot. Now this whole belt is laser cut moly. It's kind of made of this like squadron type material, super thin, super lightweight. As far as my mag pouches, I am running T-Rex Arms Mars carriers. I believe they're called Ragnarok carriers now, but these are kind of the old style Mars carriers. I like these a lot. They're super low profile as far as like how much of the mag they're covering. I do not like mag pouches that come all the way up and cover half the mag. I do not need that. And there's plenty of adjustment here that I can dial in the retention as much as I want. So I like that a lot. And I also can adjust the cant on these as well. So you can kind of see I have these going all the way to the front. I have 3 of them, and the farther front I go, the more of a cant I have to them. And this is really helpful for reloads, kind of keeping my reloads consistent and efficient, not having to reach all the way back, but rather just coming straight down and doing it that way. These are riding on Blade Tech Lock attachments. I want to upgrade these to the new Blade Tech kind of quick QD mag attachment system. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. I'll put it in the screen up here. But those allow for really quick adjust canting, as well as just being able to pop them on and off, and that way, no matter what I'm using this belt for, I could pop these off, put rifle mag carriers on if I wanted to, and that would give me a lot of flexibility. So planning on upgrading to those. Now the cool thing about this belt is that because I have this so slick and kind of low profile, I can add whatever I want onto this. So if I'm helping teach a class with Brennan, I can throw a dump pouch on here, no problem. If I am helping run a class, I can have medical on here as well, or maybe I'm shooting a big match or at a range day or something, I want to keep a tourniquet or a med kit, I can do that really, really easily. So this is kind of the setup I have it's kind of my main squeeze for competition and training and stuff like that. Now my favorite part about this 2-piece belt system is the inner belt. So an option that Blue Alpha has had ever since I can remember is the upgrade of the inner belt for all of their 2-piece belt systems. So the standard inner belt that comes with the 2-piece belt systems is just kind of a standard belt, that Velcro belt that overlaps with each other. Or you can upgrade to essentially it's their low profile EDC belt with Velcro loop on the outside. I really dig that because my normal carry belt is a low profile EDC belt. So being able to switch to this, there's absolutely no difference whatsoever. So I dig that a lot. So if I'm at the range and I'm done, I can simply untuck my shirt, boom, and I can go about my day. It's super intuitive and works great for me. So this is not a traditional kind of competition belt setup, but I really like the versatility because I can build this out however I want to, and I know that I can handle anything. So let's go ahead and check out Brennan's setup.
All right, guys, so you just saw Justin's setup. My setup is very, very similar. It's built off of the exact same belt, the Battle Belt Lite. Of course, it's in Ranger Green, right? For me, this is really just a range belt, right? It kind of looks more tactical, but the thing is, like, I'm not a cop, I'm not in the military, so duty rigs, like, I don't have a duty to serve, right? So this is just a range belt for me also, but it does kind of serve a little bit of a different purpose. So number one, I have the ability to carry rifle mags on this belt. I think that is really important. I really like having my primary reload be off of my belt. So I've got this set up. I can add more rifle mag carriers to this belt if I need to, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm teaching a rifle class or something like that. And then the biggest difference for me really is having a holster with retention. So anytime I'm going to run a holster with retention, I'm going to run a belt kind of like this. And but at the end of the day, it's a belt, holds my gun, holds my mags, and that's pretty much it. So let's get down to it and kind of look at what this is in a little bit more detail. We'll start over here on the left side of the belt. So I have the ability to carry about 4 mags on me, 3 pistol and 1 rifle. Sometimes I do add a second rifle mag carrier to this, just depends on what I'm doing, but in general, 1 is fine. 3 pistol mags, starting up here at the front. I've got a Hammer Armament mag pouch. This one has been Cordura wrapped, just for the looks, really, honestly, and it looks pretty good, right? I have a Kinetics mag carrier here because I like having my first reload be nice and fast. So this is kind of angled, so it's going to mirror my competition belt, where I can come right down, grab that magazine out really easily at a really kind of natural angle. I may take this one off depending on what I'm doing. So depending on if I really need this many mags or if I'm going to be doing a lot of prone shooting, a lot of times I'll pop this off and just kind of leave it at home and just run with the 2 kind of side-by-side upright mags right behind that. But if I'm just going to do a range day or something, it's kind of nice to have that reload readily available and set up really ergonomically. From there, moving back, these mag pouches, these pistol ones and also this rifle one are from Blue Alpha, and these are just kind of a nylon and elastic mag pouch. They're super, super low profile, super, super light, and when you're not using them, they fold pretty much completely flat, right? So they're not taking up any weight, they're not bulky. The mounting attachment, right, is just this like 1-wrap Velcro stuff, right? Super nice. It's easy to string through the MOLLE on the front and then easy to just wrap around the back, and you're not getting a bunch of bulk like you do running something like a Tech Lock. So very, very minimalist. The retention on them is pretty decent. I think if I was doing something really, really crazy, if I was, you know, jumping out of airplanes or something like that, I might want the ability to add a retention strap, which they do have the ability to do. So you can string a retention strap to the back over here, and then obviously connecting it to the front if you need a little bit more retention. I'm obviously running pretty tall mags with these extensions, so if you're running a little bit shorter mag, I don't think you would have any problems there. Moving back from the pistol mags, I just have my rifle mag carrier, obviously the same kind of construction. I find the retention on this guy to be really, really good. So my rifle mags fit in there very, very tightly, and I haven't had no issues with retention there. I think also it's just that plastic surface works out a little bit better. So probably some of you guys running Glock mags or something like that, that's not this slick metal, the retention might differ a little bit. But overall, really low profile, and have been running these for a few months, and I like them quite a bit. Moving on back from there, the next thing we've got is this dump pouch. This is from Coyote Tactical Solutions. Nothing special about this dump pouch. I don't really prefer the ones that are made of like the really thin material. I like something that's kind of a heavier duty Cordura. I've tried a bunch of different mag pouches or dump pouches over the years, and they all pretty much do the same thing. For me, the biggest thing is having something that I can kind of fold up when it's not in use. So the way this works is I just kind of fold this in, roll this up, fold it down, and that that dump pouch completely stows away. So I like the ability to do that, kind of gets it out of the way. Anytime I'm working on the range, if I'm teaching a class or something like that, a lot of times you'll see me run a dump pouch because you can fit a bunch of stuff in here. You can fit your stapler in here, a bunch of PMags, a water bottle, whatever it is, and it's just kind of almost like a trash bin for everything you need to carry on you, anything you don't want to take up space in your pocket. So that's the Tactical Coyote, the Coyote Tactical Solutions dump pouch. Moving on from there, we have the med kit. Now, med kits I think sometimes are done pretty improperly. So people generally tend to have something that is either way too small or way too big. So something that's way too big might not even allow them to sit down in a car or even sit down on, on a chair to eat lunch or whatever. And then some people have things that are way too small and just simply don't have enough in them. For me, it's important to find kind of the balance. So this is a individual IFAK from Live the Creed, LTC. And I really like this because it's very, very slim. So if you get kind of a top-down view of this, it's super slim. And so even when I'm sitting or driving and I'm wearing this, it really doesn't cause much of an issue kind of back there in the small of the back. A lot of guys will say to run the med kit offset to your side so you don't have anything right there in the small of the back. And I do think that is a good idea, and I might experiment with that in the future, but I've just run it small of the back for pretty much ever, that's kind of where it sits. The other important thing is to make sure that you can access it with both hands. I think that is pretty important. So this thing unbuckles, you can reach back with either hand and unbuckle the little swift clip here, and then you can slide this insert out either way. So if I grab this and just kind of pull, you can see the insert comes right out, and then I can take this to whoever needs it, or hopefully, more realistically, have somebody be able to use this on myself. So these should be pretty much reserved for your injuries. That's the whole point of being able to carry it on your person. Hopefully everybody has their own individual one, but in the case of somebody having some sort of accident at the range, I do know that I have medical on me and I can hopefully help take care of that casualty. On the bottom, I've got a CAT Gen 7 tourniquet, so North American Rescue, and this is just kind of a built-in tourniquet holder. Works out really well, keeps it kind of out of the way. CAT Gen 7s are for sure my favorite tourniquet. I think they're the easiest to apply, they're easiest to use one-handed, and they're just really straightforward. Really like those. Can never have too many tourniquets on you. So that's the med kit. Moving around to the holster. The holster, there's quite a few things going on here. At its core, it is a 6390 Safariland RDS holster. I shoot it at 5-inch M&P. So for the long slide boys out there with a weapon mounted light, this is the 8192 and fits my 5-inch just fine. A couple things I do to the holster just to make it a little bit easier for me is, number one, I take out the barrel plug. So that's going to allow me to run all my different barrel lengths, so 4-inch, 4 1/4, and 5-inch. So I take that out of there. A lot of guys also take the light plug out. Mine usually is in here. Sometimes they pop out and I lose them. It's not a big deal, but this thing can also just pop right out. I do like having some sort of way for, if brass gets down into the holster, for that brass to be able to fall out the bottom. I think that is fairly important. So I always make sure I have either one of these things out. The barrel plug almost always comes out, and like I said, that one can come out too. It's connected via a Safariland QLS. Okay, so I've got the QLS fork on my holster here, and then on the belt, I've got the Safariland QLS receiver plate, the kind of the female end. This thing is bolted directly to the True North Concepts modular holster hanger. So this thing is pretty awesome. So just like kind of Justin's Dagger boss hanger, this thing kind of serves the same role, but for a more like tactical role or duty role. Has a little bit more adjustment, so you can fit a variety of holsters on here. On the back, I just have this mounted directly to the aluminum plate. Really like the rigidity this gives. You don't get a lot of holster flop, where the holster flops kind of outwards as you draw, which is great. I took the thigh strap from T-Rex Arms and literally just poked a hole through it with my knife and stuck the the little screw through it. I believe they updated that now, and there's like a swivel socket or something, or like a metal socket now, which is a better design. But this is an old one, and I didn't want to buy a new one. So I got that one just drilled through. and I do like running a leg strap when I'm running a retention holster, just in case I do miss that draw, the holster doesn't flop out. And then on the holster itself, right, down here we have the QLS. The QLS is mounted to this little black plate in here, made of aluminum. This thing is the negative cant plate made by Black Box Customs and the Theory Police, I believe. I believe it's a collaboration product. What you can see about this is it's really nice because if I hold the holster straight up and down, you can see my QLS is canted in the opposite way that Safarilands normally are. So normally when you get your Safariland, you put it on, it's got this real crazy forward cant, right? For whatever reason, contracts or whatever, not sure. But it's terrible. It's not ergonomic for the draw at all. So adding that negative cant plate and then putting your QLS on top of that, I can now have my QLS straight up and down, and you can see I've got a negative cant on this. Some people like to run their holster straight up and down. I find it's pretty ergonomic to run it a little bit off to the kind of angled back to the rear. It mirrors the way my competition belt is set up. Justin has his competition belt or his holster set up very similarly. So it's kind of nice just to have a little bit of similarity between the two belts. Obviously quick release, so you can just drop this back on. And if you have another holster or you want to run a different platform like a Glock or a 2011 or something, you've got a different holster for that, you can just drop that right on. Other than that, same buckle as Justin's got on his, just the plastic buckle has worked out fine for me. I'm not rappelling, I'm not jumping out of helicopters or climbing, you know, mountains or anything like that. If I was, I would not be running this because you'd want that stitching and the actual Cobra buckle. But this thing has held up very, very well. I think a lot of people are concerned that the plastic buckle is not going to hold up. It is really highly rated and is really low profile and light, which actually does make quite a bit of difference. So guys, that's it. That's my battle belt or duty belt setup. Really, guys, like I said before, it's just a range belt. So take that for what it's worth. If it's helpful for you guys setting one up, I highly recommend you looking into Blue Alpha, the battle belt Lite specifically. I think it's a fantastic option for you. And let us know in the comments how you guys are setting yours up. If there's anything that you think I missed or should consider adding or removing. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and throw this on, hit the range, and actually do some shooting. All right, so we're gonna do some shooting here, and the drill we're gonna do is the X-Ray Alpha MXAD drill, right? So this is a drill came up with by Matt Pranka, and yeah, so we're trying to figure out what MXAD stands for, and the best I can come up with is Matt's X-Ray Alpha drill. So if that's common knowledge, you know, have at me at the comments. Matt, please weigh in and let us know if we're correct. But I never put that together until very recently. So if I'm correct, I'd be very pleased. All right, let's do this. So what it is I've got a target at 5 yards, target at 12 yards, 6 rounds on the 5-yard target, transition to the 12-yard target and do 2 rounds. Obviously looking for alphas here. Yeah, we'll do it for time, see what we get. I'll run it, Justin will run it, and yeah, let's do it. Odds I fumble the ALS draw. I don't know. This could be bad. Oh, see? All right. Here we go. Stand by. .283. That was not my best work. And I did fumble the draw. 5 alphas, 1 Charlie, and Alpha Charlie down here. Those Charlies. It's really sad. First shot was a 120, which is just so terrible. 19, 18, 25, 22, 16, that trigger freeze. And then 35 transition, way too long. and a 28 split. So the 28 split is fine, but that transition took me a really long time, and the draw took me a really long time. So let me pace this up, and we'll run it one more time and just see if we can do just like a tiny bit better. Oh, I threw it in the shoulder so hard. I made it up. So 274 with a makeup. Without it, it would have been at a 246. 6 alphas here. And this was over transitioned, delta, alpha, and then Charlie. So made it up. Total time 274, 1 second draw, which is much better. 17, 18, 15, 16, 16. Transition was a 0.33. Again, I was on track to do it a little bit better, but I overdrove, right? 3-1 transition, and then a 2-8 split. So yeah, total 274.
All right, guys, here we go. Stand by. Oof, really bad. That was my first shot. That was a delta. It was a 246.
So 1 delta 5 alpha?
Yes. And then I have a delta down here. I don't know why I didn't take a makeup shot. In my mind, I was thinking no makeups, but you totally can do makeups. That was my transition. So 2 delta, the rest are alpha, and a 246. Let's do that one more time. Ugh. 85 draw. It's not bad. All right. Okay, 245. Really consistent. Threw 2 Charlies right here. The rest are alpha. Started dragging off a little bit. And then 2 alpha. So 2 Charlie and a 245. A little bit better in the last run. I think 100th of a second quicker. 2 Charlie instead of the 2 delta. So it was better, but still not great.
All right, guys, there you have it. That's our take on the differences between a competition-oriented belt and a more tactical style range belt. So one thing to keep in mind when you are putting together your own belt is just making sure that you're not just kind of bolting on different pouches or holsters or just things that don't really make sense. Make sure that you have a reason for every single thing that you put on your belt. Make sure that it makes sense for you. Don't just take my belt or Justin's belt and copy it straight out if that's not going to be something that actually works for your context. So do your research, figure out what you need, buy quality products. Again, we really appreciate you guys supporting Blue Alpha. They support us, and you shopping with things like our affiliate link really help us out and allow us to keep making content like this for you guys. That's it from us. Until next time, keep practicing and shooting, and we'll see you on the range.